this time right now, wherever you are right now, this is the time that you are preparing yourself for what's to come. And sometimes that preparation, many times I've found, that preparation is very painful. If you've got something, let it rip.
I'm never going to do this again.
Everybody grapples with this idea that you're really a fraud.
Like, I'm alive.
And that's when it clicked with me. And I thought, these are not superheroes. These are just men that can do super things.
This is Matt Del Negro, and you are listening to the new stripped down 10,000 No's.
What we do here is go back.
All right, today we're talking about luck being when preparation meets opportunity. Now, the reason for this particular title and this particular topic today, yesterday was St. Patrick's Day. I married an Irish lass 2 decades ago, and so I know the term the luck of the Irish, and that's thrown around this time of year. So I looked it up, and there are 4 alleged reasons for this phrase, the luck of the Irish. I thought it would be a good segue into what we talk about here on the show. The first one is that it has to do with the California gold rush in the 1800s, that a lot of Irish immigrants struck gold, hence the luck of the Irish. The other one was that the shamrock, the 4-leaf clover, are symbols of luck. There was another thing that was about leprechauns and the Celtic mythology of this creature, mythical creature of abundance, and there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And then the fourth reason was that it was a sarcastic remark saying the luck of the Irish, but it was actually referring to after the famine in 1845 to 1849, when many people emigrated out of Ireland. They were not necessarily welcomed elsewhere. And so the term the luck of the Irish was kind of a sarcastic remark. I wanted to use that as an excuse to talk about luck in terms of 10,000 No's. Many of you are actors. Many of you are not actors. You're people that are just looking to increase your productivity or your resilience or your mindset in some competitive field. So the way I always think of luck, and many people on my show have talked about this, is preparation meeting opportunity. You know, I always say to my kids, you only see the very tip of the iceberg when you see someone winning an Oscar or winning the Super Bowl or driving around on a yacht. It's the tip of the iceberg. And usually when you go way beneath the surface, you find a ton of preparation, a ton of time that was put into something. That's the title of the show, 10,000 No's to get to that yes. The idea is that you have to be in the game, overcoming rejection, constantly retooling and sharpening your tool to have more success. I completely talk about this every week with the 10,000 No's Insiders group. We had someone recently who will be actually a guest. It's actually going to be next week, Terry Knickerbocker, who is New York's top acting coach, coaches huge stars, Sam Rockwell, Daniel Craig, amongst others. And he talks all about preparation. You're going to get that next week, going back to the basics, the foundations in order to have success. No matter where you are in your career, I can't stress enough the amount of preparation that you need to do. Let's take it in the context of acting. The amount of preparation you need to do before you show up at set so that when you get there, you are ready for things to go sideways. As I always say, acting class is like being taught the principles of acting in a vacuum or in a bubble. But when you go, work on a film or a TV show, it's like taking that acting class and going onto, an 80-story skyrise that's being erected in New York City, and it's still just steel beams and girders, and there are, things swinging by, and you have to do what you have to do with all of these moving parts going by. the way that you can stay relaxed, which is the number one thing for an actor, is by preparing. It's physical warm-ups. It's knowing what the scene is, knowing who you are in relation to the other characters in the scene. All of these things, because when you get there, maybe they're going to be behind on their day and they're rushing through it, or maybe there's a stunt in the scene and you didn't even know it when you were reading the scene. Maybe you weren't experienced enough to realize that, oh, this is going to actually be a whole thing. I just had this happen recently on work that I was doing in Pittsburgh, where there was a stunt. I knew it because I read the scene and I've worked enough that I know this is going to be something where there will be a stunt coordinator and it'll be a whole thing on top of the actual scene that I had to do. So mentally, I was prepared. When you're prepared, you can be relaxed. Things are coming at you, and then you can do what needs to be done in the scene, and then you can have the scene, and it's all integrated as part of it. So luck is preparation meeting opportunity. It goes in sports, it goes in acting, it goes in school, no matter what field you're in. I think about it with my kids, with sports. Drilling in practice over and over again, knowing whether you're wrestling and you have to know different moves, you have to know what your opponent's going to do, you have to have things in your body so that when you get into the ring, when you're actually on the mat, you can improvise. Just as an actor improvises, you can be in the moment. When you go to, work some move and they counter with something else, you have to know how to improvise. The only way you can is with preparation. So this isn't anything new. We're not reinventing the wheel here. This is just my reminder to you, before you complain about where you are or where you're not in your career, and you look at someone else and think, oh, why are they getting lucky? A lot of people say that. They look at someone else who has a better career than them or a better situation than them. They say, oh, they got lucky. Well, maybe they did. I mean, I'm not saying that there aren't, many instances of that. There are instances of that in Hollywood, you're in the right place at the right time. But nobody stays on top on luck alone. Maybe somebody gets an opportunity, but they were prepared. No one is just giving out jobs. Sometimes I'll have young actors come to me and say, I know someone who's a producer. It's like, great, that's great, and that can help you because you're going to have an entree to that person, more than maybe 99 other people out there. But if you're not prepared when you meet that producer, it's not going to amount to anything. They're not going to just give you something just to give it to you. Or if they do, it's going to be short-lived. In some instances, it's not even something you can necessarily prepare specifically for. In the instance of a producer, maybe they don't have a particular project that they're working on or that they're thinking of you for. But whatever it is that you did in your life has prepared you for that moment unbeknownst to you. That's the same thing I'll say again to my kids. Who knows what they're going to do in life, but I always say sports and school are great preparation for when you get out into the real world, because how you handle yourself there is going to determine your work ethic, your habits, and when people meet you, those good habits, they show. You're showing up on time, you're shaking hands, looking at someone in the eye, you're able to hold a conversation, you have had responsibilities, you've done service, you've got things that accomplishments, performances. So what you're doing now, sometimes it's preparing for something specific, and that's going to, people are going to say you got lucky when, if you're an actor, that audition comes through and you happen to be super prepared, like you've been for 100 other auditions prior to that one, and you get that one, and then people say you got lucky. And you'll say that's fine. Let people say what they're going to say. It was the preparation, and it just happened, to meet the opportunity in that particular case. And other times, it's just whether you're, as you're going to hear next week with Terry Knickerbocker, you go back, you decide to rearrange your life to go back and do a 2-year program or to go do a summer intensive. You rearrange your life in a way that allows you to really delve deep into the principles of acting and to study. And as a result of that, you don't know what the opportunities are going to come after that, but as a result of that training, 2, 3, 4 years from now, all these opportunities are coming because of the work you put in then. I think people tend to put the cart before the horse, and they want results and they want them now. If you're one of those people, I would say, I like that you're ambitious. I like that you've got hunger and drive, but also take a breath and realize this time right now, wherever you are right now, this is the time that you are preparing yourself for what's to come. And sometimes that preparation, many times I've found, that preparation is very painful. In the entertainment industry, as actors, that pain comes in the form of really wanting something and not getting it, or it comes in the form of, for all of us, last year, 2023, the dual strikes. I mean, personally, I can say, to have 7 months where there were no opportunities for employment as an actor was tough. But even in that pain, sometimes, especially because of that pain, you're being prepared for what's to come. For me, that period of time produced an opportunity for me to pair up with the Brownstone class and do the Let's Shoot the Rehearsal weekend intensive, the on-camera retreats that we do in New York City. That was something that didn't really exist before. Now it's something that came about. Various projects, 2 projects, one's a feature, one's a TV show. I had time to work on those and develop those. Now 2024 comes, I got opportunities, I'm working, thank God, and those are they're still going, but they're a little more on the back burner because I have to focus on preparing these specific jobs. But that work is not lost. I'm still doing Zooms with the writing partners, so it's still moving the ball downfield and still moving forward, just at a slower pace. But there was an opportunity in that painful pause that we had because of the strikes. There was an opportunity to prepare for something else, and that was developing material. So you don't always choose exactly what it is you're preparing for, but I think if you're getting into the idea that luck is preparation meeting opportunity, I think it's going to put you into the mindset to constantly be looking for, where can I prepare? How can I sharpen the tools in my toolbox so that when that opportunity comes around the corner, because sometimes it comes literally overnight. I mean, literally overnight. This one job that I'm talking about, it was literally a Thursday night. I was in bed, happened to get up and check my phone. I had an email for something, a self-tape that was due the next day. I was doing the weekend intensive that weekend. My kids were on spring break winter break the next week. I knew if I didn't make the tape that following morning, I wasn't going to be able to make it. It was due that afternoon. I got an extension, but it didn't matter because I wasn't going to be available to make the tape. I was taking a workshop online with an acting coach that I love. I had already paid for it. I really wanted to do it. And that was 10:30 at night, and I had no idea it was coming. I got up at 4 in the morning. I went to the gym. I started working on the material, and at 11 a.m. I made a tape. And then on that particular one, I got lucky. And it is luck. It is the stars aligning, but it's also preparation, because for that one job, I had how many tapes that I made in 2023 that I thought were really good that didn't get me the job. So you can go, oh, he got lucky, or you could go, oh no, he was due, because he did about 100 auditions before that one came through for him. So that's what I'm talking about. You don't always know when it's coming. In this business, they come very fast sometimes around the corner. Sometimes you can see something from a distance, and sometimes, like in the case of this TV show and this feature film that I'm developing, I'm the one determining what the goal is, what the opportunity is in the future. So the preparation is all on me and the collaborators I'm working with. So doesn't matter where you are in your career, I'm saying before you look to complain, look for opportunities to prepare, because that preparation will set you up for that opportunity, and then everybody will say that you got lucky. All right, that's all I got. We'll see you next week. Terry Knickerbocker, top acting coach. You're going to dig that one. Okay. Thanks for listening. Really appreciate you coming over here or watching this on YouTube, however you got to me. Just want to let you know a couple of our offerings. If you go to 10,000nos.com, we have the 10,000 Nos Insiders community, which is a virtual community where I meet with artists once a week, every Monday for an hour over Zoom, and then every month I bring in an industry VIP. You can also check out my book, 10,000 Nos, How to Overcome Rejection on the Way to Your Yes. If you're interested in private coaching, whether in person or over Zoom, I do that as well. For all this stuff, email info@10,000nos.com. In the subject line, tell us what you want. We do our Let's Shoot the Rehearsal weekend intensive on-camera retreats in New York City and elsewhere throughout the year, every couple of months, so check that out. You can also email us to join the newsletter. I will not flood your inbox. It'll only come once a week. Love to have you in our circle. Thank you for listening. If you really dig it, tell your friends, put it on social media. If you feel like it deserves a 5-star review over at Apple Podcasts, please give us one there. Once again, thank you, and we'll see you next week.